All right, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? See y'all in the building. What's going on? Everybody in the building. Yeah. What's going on? What's going on? Pardon me for the delay here. Pardon my delay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hear me? Hear me? Let me see. Make sure I'm good here. What's going on? Well, y'all see the topic of the day. I had to check in with y'all. Everything's moving. The season is moving really quick. Everything is moving really fast. So I just wanted to check in with y'all. Make sure my sound is good. Make sure my sound is good. Can y'all hear me clearly here? Make sure I'm good. Okay. Yeah. So honestly, I know the off season is different. Everything is different in the off season. It's kind of like we was just here. It's weird. I mean, of course, everyday life, you was just here. Like you be like, man, it's Christmas already. Dang. When you grew up, you used to hear this saying, "Boy, you as slow as Christmas." I know in South, maybe I don't know if it's a South thing, a cultural thing, but it used to be a saying when I grew up. I ain't heard it no more because it don't exist. You not slow as Christmas because Christmas ain't slow. Nothing is slow. You go from Christmas to Christmas, January to January. And man, y'all, I feel an inspiration, motivation stirring up in me right now because it's like life be life and you got all kinds of stuff in life. But while you here, if you want to be happy, you got to make sure you taking advantage of every day, no matter how fast it go, because the days move fast. I mean, this football season has went by fast. So, you know, make sure y'all keep that chat rolling so I can know if it is some kind of glitch up or something. Hopefully there's no issue with the chat. I don't really plan on doing a lot of flipping between screens today, but just y'all keep that chat moving because I sometimes that chat kind of freeze up on this new platform I'm on here. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're here to talk about, man. We're here to talk about today because I know that a lot of y'all been with me since the beginning. And we was this time last year we was looking at people hitting the portal and what was coming in. We didn't have no bowl game to look forward to. So the bowl game is a gift and a curse because it's like the season over, but it's not over. So you have no closure. But it's a big gap because that bowl game is like it's after Christmas, depending on which one they go to. Both of them's after Christmas. One like 27, one like 28, whatever. Um, okay. And I know I'm gonna get mixed perspectives. But I know I was on the B Watch show on Thursday, and I referenced a conversation that he sent out, and he sounded like I said, "You going through the stages of grief?" Because it's like a week later, and he just made a comment about, what happened?" And I feel like it's hard to get closure because it just ended abruptly. You still had all this hope, and then you still holding on to hope when hope was gone. And then you got this bowl game. So, like I said, you can't really get that closure that you want on the season because the season not over, even though it's over. So it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm surprised or not because I was trying to figure out why he wasn't playing. So I don't know what was going on with that because he's injured, he's not injured, and he's got so many receivers in that room. A lot of receivers can hit the portal, rightfully so. What's going on? Shout out to Ronald in Louisiana. Where y'all from? Shout out where y'all from in the chat, in the comments, wherever you are. I like to check in every now and then. I know a lot of people, some people in Georgia. What state, city y'all in? The people in the chat, where y'all located at? Sometimes people look at the analytics and they're like, yeah, I got people in this area. So represent where y'all are in the United Other States. Sometimes we have people in here from other countries. You'd be surprised. People be watching from Italy, and so you just never know. And then people, of course, they watch they kind of watch the playback. So if you in here right now, go ahead. If you're in the playback, put where you from in the comments. We get a feel where y'all from. Orlando, Florida. We got Orlando here. Did you go to the UCF game? Did you go to that game? I know some people went to the UCF game. We got Brooklyn in the house. We got Allen in the DMV. Okay. Okay, we got Snellville. They don't know about that. It's Snellville, Georgia, Decula, which is, I guess you can say, right around the corner from Snellville. For all the people who know about Georgia. And he say he behind my sofa. All right. Now I'm behind your sofa. Yeah. I hope you help me clean up in there because the floor need to be mopped. You know, just clean up time right now, mopping and all that good stuff. Yeah. So anybody, just let us know where you from. You say, nope, I was in Canada. I was in Canada during that game, but went to 2 in Boulder. Which games you went to in Boulder? Huh. We're gonna get into this one right here. We gonna get into this one. God, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I look at I can't even say I looked at it. I didn't even look at the conference game. I had a birthday party last night, so it just worked out. It was gonna be tight for me anyway. It was gonna be tight for me anyway because I had a surprise birthday party for family members yesterday. So even if this Colorado was in the conference game, it was gonna be tough for me. That's why I never planned on going to the game, because I was gonna be trying to figure out how I'm gonna be watching the game and get set up and all that stuff. We got Florida in the building. Yeah, we all the best everything now. Yeah, but that's weird, ain't it? That's weird. That's weird. And they're on the same side of the ball. So that's weird, man. I'm gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna let mine out. I want y'all to let y'all out. You know. Okay. So you was at Kansas State. Yeah. I was at Kansas State. I didn't see you at Kansas State, did I? I met somebody at Kansas State. Did I meet you at Kansas State? I met somebody at Kansas State with the CU aunties. That wasn't you, was it? We got Colorado here and Aurora. I rode through Aurora on the train and all that good stuff, trying to get around Colorado. It was about to be nighttime. I said, let me get off the train, just catch the Uber. Try to be cute, catch the bus up. It should be sometime today, I would think, that they're going to announce the bowl game. I would think and I would hope. That's what they say now. Man, I don't know what difference it'll make. I mean, it is a difference, but it's like the game you prefer to play in, you don't, because it's going to be just. Yeah, I didn't. I saw a couple people out there, but I don't think nobody from being here. I knew a couple people was gonna be at the game, but I didn't see nobody there because I was at the Buff Walk, and that's when I saw most people. Then I went live in the stadium. No, yeah, I was at the Buff Walk. I didn't know. See, I didn't know enough to even know. People talk about they gonna see people. I didn't know where I was gonna be. I didn't know nothing where nothing was. So that's why you have to go on your own and all that when you go to a place the first time. I didn't bring nobody with me because it's like it was definitely different than what I thought, because it was. I mean, the landscape was somewhat similar, but how you get to everything and how close everything was, I had to figure it out. So if I went back, I know how to deal with stuff. I couldn't tell nobody where I was gonna be meeting nobody. I didn't know what nothing was at, So I didn't know how the Buff Walk was laid out. I know it was about a stadium. So now I know, because I know everybody hang out at that Buff stage. So you meet people there because everybody be on that field, kind of waiting around. So that's really where you meet people at, if you was to meet people at the game. Because it just be people everywhere. But that Buff Walk's kind of like a gathering area before the game. Plenty of meat on the bone. You ever seen somebody eat chicken and just eat pretty much the skin off and leave, especially them little split bones, and they leave all the meat? inside the bone, and you be like, you just gonna leave all that meat on the bone? That's what Colorado did. Colorado left all that meat on the bone, man. They left all that meat in there. You finna throw that away? I don't know how you figure it's gonna be the Alamo Bowl. I mean, I don't know who got first dibs. They probably, honestly, they probably would prefer the Alamo Bowl because it's a bigger venue and it's in Dallas. It's more central than California, and most of prime people. We got a lot of people in Dallas. I mean, Texas. Um, I don't know. It's a little closer than California, but it's Texas, so he probably prefer Texas over California because you no longer in the Pac-12 anyway. But if you were central, maybe you'll draw more people. Maybe it's closer. Texas is different, man. You drive through Texas alone, it's like 8 hours or something. Just to drive through it's weird. It's probably bigger than what the map show. And you say because Arizona State won, because they going to the playoff, I guess. I mean, because you got to think about it. Arizona State, Colorado, USC, Washington State. Those are the only former Pac-12 or current Pac-12, I don't know, former Pac-12 teams that's bowl eligible. Ain't that interesting? Utah not bowl eligible, Arizona not bowl eligible. So they don't have many teams to pick from. So they like everybody pulling on Colorado to meet that requirement for these bowl games. Because I guess you see Arizona gonna be in the playoffs. So I don't know if the playoff situation makes them not qualified. I was trying to figure that out because I figure if you're in the playoff and you lose, you still go to bowl game. But I guess they gotta set it. So it's gonna have to be set before the playoffs start, I guess. So I don't know. But nobody want Arizona. They want to go play BYU again. Nobody's gonna go to that. Only thing that makes it almost acceptable is Colorado hasn't played BYU this year. But at the same time, it's like they're gonna play them next year. So they're a conference game, even though they wouldn't be a conference game if they was still in Pac-12. The thing for sure, if they went out there and played Miami or Syracuse, they ain't playing them next year. 9 times out of 10. Yeah, I put the game on for a quick minute and surprised on how many. Oh, I saw that. I wanted to show up, and this dumb thing gonna mess with it. But right before I got on, I saw the picture somebody posted on Twitter. It looked like AI. I was like, somebody posted on Twitter about just how embarrassing the response was to that game. People did not go to that game. They did not go. Arizona people didn't come out, and Iowa State. You would think Iowa State people would have. They act like it was such a big deal for them to finally make it to a conference game and all that. You would think they would have packed it out. But I don't know what's the benefit sometimes, unless you just got a really strong market behind you. Like, have to figure out, I'm going to a game in a week. It take a special type of person, especially when you didn't know you was going to be there. Like, up to the last game, you trying to figure out. Then you got to make hotel plans, flight plans, get tickets and all that. Not to mention coming up with the money. It takes a special person to be able to go across a special base. See, the thing about Colorado base, they're not based in Colorado, contrary to probably. Most of Colorado base is not from Colorado. Most of Colorado base came with Coach Prime. They had some people who was already there, but they've been losing for so long. Only the real diehards were left with Colorado. Most of the people who really, really packing the stadium out and be sitting there quiet and don't know the chants, and they don't, because most of the people new to Colorado. So, but it's many of them, and they're in Georgia, and they're in Florida, and they're in Texas. They're everywhere. So it's nothing for Colorado to sell out everywhere they go. It's a sellout because people are there ready to sell it out. They come to Atlanta. I said, when they come to Georgia Tech in a couple of years, I went to Georgia Tech game. I said, they don't sell out like Colorado. Colorado sell every game. And I said, Colorado is going to sell out this venue. You best believe everybody named Mama going to come to Georgia Tech game. They ain't been to no other football game. They're going to sell out. They're going to make it like a baby stadium. And my cousins argue with me. My cousins argued with me when they said that that's Deion Sanders. They said that's Deion Sanders. They don't gonna come. I mean, they said Travis Hunter, and I said no. I said no. I said that's Deion who packing this out. They said no, that's Colorado. When they lose Travis and Shadua, that's the star power. I said that's clearly you don't know. They got their star power by being attached to Deion, not the other way around. Not the other way around. So apparently, the bowl game. I know they had the first choice, and uh, yeah, they gonna get more money and all that, and it's just a better location far as city and all that. But you're not playing the team that's really gonna spark that thing up. I guarantee you'll get more turnout if you had Miami there. I don't know if people be that thrilled to see the rush to see BYU play Colorado. At least BYU people. I know why Colorado people will show up. Because they're gonna show up anyway, because they there. That's their chance to see Coach Prime. They ain't seen him yet. And this will be their last time to see Shador and Travis and all them boys play together. So they have an incentive, no matter what Colorado play, people have an incentive to show up. BYU people may be like, it's no big deal because we're gonna see them next year. It's not like it's a rare opportunity, But they may use the same thing. This may be their last chance to see Coach Prime. And the beauty about this is you got 3 weeks to build up for that game. It ain't like you got to have a 1 week turnaround. So they got a chance to, pull a little Rodney King out. Well off, need to get off there, whatever, and amp this thing up because they need to get back to selling tickets for this game, I guess. To get up a storyline. People need a storyline. I don't know. Because outside of that, it ain't no big deal. Yeah, you get the 10th win. That'll help out. BYU don't want Colorado for some reason. I remember the fans said CU, the team they didn't want to see in the championship, if they made it. No, they didn't want to see them in the championship because they knew that they can beat them. But since they ain't in the championship, what would they care? This don't mean nothing. And the game don't have no meaning now because it's not tied to you get to go to the playoff or something like that. And I don't even know, man. These bowl games are weird. Like Colorado is different culturally. They will play their players. So I don't know if BYU was going to have some people hit the portal. I don't know if BYU was going to have some people who say, I'm a senior, forget playing against them. I ain't got nothing to prove. Because a senior can say this. Senior can say one or two things. They can say, shoot, this is my chance to go against Travis Hunter. Or they can say, shoot, I can go up against Travis Hunter and get embarrassed and lose stock. What risk I'm gonna take? They're not even necessarily injury. If I go out there and Travis Hunter run all over me, he's gonna have me on the highlight tape, not the other way around. They ain't like what it used to be. Oh, I get to play against the best. Because Travis and Shador gonna play simply because this is the official last time they played. Last time, like, is it gonna be? And we're at home. They knew they had another game. But this is it. So you got that build up. So they're going to play just like Jackson State. They didn't have to play in that game, but they wanted to finish a certain way. And this is their chance to finish with a bowl game win because that's what they wanted. And that's unfortunate because that's my grid said the theory. My theory is the fact that if they wanted the bowl game, they would have got it. But I argue with people for months, other content people say, look here, you don't shoot for the target, you shoot above it. You shoot for the moon. If you miss it, you'll get all that. But you don't shoot here and then say, I want to get to the moon. It's just the principle, man. It ain't my principle, it's the principle. It's like you drive and slam on your brakes, then expect to catch up with somebody who's still going full speed. You better need the brakes on the back end than to need the gas to catch up. So that's my thing about the whole. I did a show about it. I said, do they really believe? Because why would you set a low bar? Like, I know that's your minimum, but you set it like it was your goal because it probably was. Let's be real. Like, I know at least I'm gonna get a bowl game out this thing. You gotta at least get a bowl game, but you gotta be careful on how because really by mid-season they had already accomplished it. It was one game away from accomplishing it. And if you kind of like take your foot out the brakes in any kind of way, and let's say you needed to get 100 miles per hour to cross the finish line, in the race you was. So clearly, it was what, a 4-5, end up in a 5-team tie. And that's why you needed that extra gas. You slowed down because you was coasting. Because like, I got my bowl game. It looked like we good and other people losing. And then it's like, oh shucks, let me catch up. Arizona State come out of nowhere. I looked at the thing. I was at the gym on Friday, y'all. I was at the gym on Friday, and they was showing a replay of the Texas Tech and Arizona game. Not Texas Tech and the Colorado game. Yeah, Cam Ward probably would play if Shador was playing, but he probably would have not. Because again, he wants to show up Shador. He wants to play, and that'll be a good rival because they get their last chance to play against one another. Well, Juju just smooth, man. Juju just smooth. Yeah, like it's a hard thing, y'all, to make adjustments like that. When you were looking at mid-season, they had already accomplished their goal. The goal was clear. The goal was clear. Get to the bowl game. And then when you look at the fact that everything else started going their way, because like I was saying, I looked at that. It showed a graphic, and I think Colorado at that point was number one or number two. Even when they tied at number two, and then they start showing them at number one after that game, I believe, and really going into Kansas. And Colorado was number one. They said they could have did like Arizona State did on last game. Colorado could have pretty much sealed it if they had a beat Kansas, because they weren't going to lose to Utah. They weren't going to lose clearly to Oregon State. That was their. They could have treated that like their last game. If they wanted to treat anything like last game, they could have treated that, because they could have stumbled and beat Utah. They could have stumbled and beat. If in the game they should have stumbled on and played dumb on, they should have did it against Utah, because they could have, on their worst day, they could have beat Utah. On their worst day, they could have beat Oklahoma State. But that Kansas game was dangerous because they had already ran down two of the other teams. They had already ran down the BYU's and the Kansas. In Iowa State, and they tried to get Kansas State. They tried to get Kansas State. And so they had already shown the ability to kind of wreck. But Colorado went in there, I don't know, because Arizona State wasn't even in the top 5 on that graphic. It showed Colorado, BYU, Iowa State, and I think the fourth team at that point might have been Kansas State. The graphic didn't even show Arizona State. This was going into, it was 3, Kansas was left. Kansas, Utah, Oakland. 3 games was left, and Arizona State wasn't even nowhere. It's like the tortoise and the hare. Arizona State wasn't even in it until like really that Kansas week. It's like they snuck back in, but they was out of it. And then Kansas State went and lost, and they was out of it. I remember earlier Texas Tech was in it, and they went and lost. But Texas Tech beat. I think Texas Tech beat Arizona State. If you got a quarterback, you beat Arizona State. If you going pound for pound, if you go look at Arizona State, we can do it right now. What else we here to do, y'all? What else we here to do but to do the doggone thing? We ain't got no stats to look at. What else do we gotta do? What else we gotta do? Look, let me look at Arizona State. Arizona State. This is what I do. See, that when people try to figure out how I see stuff and how I can predict stuff, I look at matchups. Everybody else look at stats and last year and the last 10 years, and that's cute. That's a given. We already know that. So Arizona State first game, 48-7 Wyoming. Beat Wyoming down. They played Mississippi State. They beat Mississippi State. They're your SEC. We can't beat the SEC. That was another SEC loss. By the way, Oklahoma State beat Arkansas in the beginning of the year. And look what they had. Right? Then Arizona State beat Texas Tech 31-28. Texas State. Not Texas Tech. They barely beat Texas State 31-28. Then they turned around and lost to Texas Tech 30-22. This is they had a slow start. This is the team that just won the conference. It's for people to say that you can't have late runs in college football like you see in the NFL, the teams who beat 500, mess around, make the playoff, and go to Super Bowl. This is Arizona State. Slow start. Then they turn around and beat Utah 27-19. Then Cincinnati beat them. Again, I told you quarterback. Cincinnati beat Arizona State 24-14. So they 2 losses right now. They already had 2 losses. Nobody was checking for them. Then they beat the Minnesota Oklahoma State 42-21. Then they barely beat UCF 35-31. This you talking about a slow start. Then they turn around and beat Kansas State. I think this was when they turned around for them. They beat Kansas State 24-14. That's the one that really put the dagger in Kansas State. This is when they started to show back up. This is once they beat Kansas State, that game, that's when they slid back in. That was after we played Texas Tech. But the same week we played Texas Tech. Then they turned around and did the unthinkable. They beat BYU the next week. And they beat the right teams. Because remember, I told you these were the top teams. We were the top 4 teams. They just beat 2 of them. Right? Everybody's about Kansas. And they beat BYU 28-13. And then they turned around and beat the mess out of Arizona 49-7. And that just put them on a run. Then they just beat Iowa State. They peaked at the right time, but they peaked while we were stepping on the brakes because they only ended up with 2 losses. And they lost them losses up early. They lost to doggone. They beat Kansas early in the season after they just lost to Texas Tech. And they lost to, then they messed around and lost to Cincinnati. Now think about the type of teams that they are. Think about Texas Tech and Cincinnati. Now, did they pull up on Kansas State? Yeah, but Kansas State was trying to run on them. The type of teams that beat them, they got to throw that ball. They got to throw that ball. Texas Tech throw that ball. They got to run back, but at Texas Tech, they was throwing the ball a little more. They got a good running back too. And of course, Cincinnati, they got a decent running back, but they can throw that ball. You're just not going to go run the ball against them. And running quarterbacks clearly are not as effective because they shut Kansas down. And you see what they just did. They barely beat UCF, but they look what they did to Kansas State, and look what they did with Iowa State quarterback who think he can run. Anytime he think he gonna make something happen, he think he's gonna run. Right? So they ain't gonna get no Alabama. I mean, CU definitely could beat Arizona State. And they beat them last year. Same, whatever. Everybody talk about that. But let me tell you, that would be interesting. You would play SEC team if you had went to the playoff. That would have been your bowl. You would have played them in a bowl game in the playoff. Because Arizona State is in an interesting spot. Because who they got them in the bracket to play? Do they play Penn State? See, who they can? I remember the last bracket used to be Penn State before the Ohio State situation. But if they get through the first round, they're gonna be a problem because Arizona State can beat Boise. If Boise get that bye, I said whoever was in our bracket, if they make through that first round, they'll be in the semifinals. You can mess around and see Arizona State in the semifinals because you think you're gonna run the ball on them. Their defense is decent enough, and then they know how to balance you out with their running game. Scatterboo can run the clock out on you. See, Kansas ran the clock out on us with their running game because we refused to tackle. So somebody asked me, could we beat Arizona State? I would say it depends on which Colorado team shows up. It depends on what Colorado. I was just telling somebody this yesterday. I think it was my cousin, CJV on here, Matt's Athletics. And Matt's up. When you think about Colorado, they would either shut down the run game scarily bad, or they would go out there and do like they did against Kansas State and Kansas. And they have a good running back, run all over them, or they'll go and shut their running back down. Like they shut their running back down at Texas Tech. They shut down their running back at Oklahoma State. That was Oklahoma State fault. They didn't give them the touches. They thought they were going to throw the ball. That was dumb. I guess they figured that was their best bet because they didn't try to feed their running back the ball. Like, they weren't really even trying. But they shut UCF running back down. This conference is a running back conference, not a quarterback conference. Pac-12 was a quarterback conference. I don't know if Arizona State got the bye. I know they wanted to get the bye, but I don't think they're a higher ranked team, and because Boise State didn't lose their rank, and they're the higher rank. And I didn't even think that the group of five even supposed to be on the same level. I thought they was gonna take the four conference winners and a group of five. I didn't know it was a competition of who get the bye. I thought the four conference team would get the bye, and the group of five would be happy to get in the playoff because they didn't take the same path. That's what I thought when they put it. I didn't think that the group of five, because they was gonna try to slide Tulane in there. If they didn't go get whooped by Memphis, they was gonna have Colorado was gonna. They was setting it up for Colorado was gonna fail either way because they would have got in the playoff. They was at the top five ranked conference team. First of all, they ain't in the same conference. These are two group of five teams, and you comparing them to you know you comparing them to Power Five, and then as soon as somebody like Colorado don't make it, they say something like, "Hey, well, it's a strength of schedule." You ain't talking that mess when you throwing Boise up there. How did they both get a bye? Is it because it's because SMU lost? I don't even think Arizona the Boise should even begin one of the byes. Yeah, I have to see. I don't know what the new I know they was asking about the bye, but and maybe SMU, whoever, maybe the ACC messed up theirs. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe the FCC messed up theirs, ACC, because that's crazy. Because Clemson got it, but what ended up happening with that Clemson? I didn't watch. I told you I didn't watch the game. What happened with that Clemson and SMU? Because SMU tried to make a run on them at the end. I see, and they both in the playoff. So they snuck both of them in the playoff. They gave them 11 and 12. They kept both of them, and I guess Miami really messed themselves up, man. They snuck. They weren't gonna sneak two in like that. They both was how they both in the championship game. They both get to make it. So Oregon got in, Penn State got in, Indiana got in. I tell you, Arizona State, they don't slid them up there. Ain't that some Colorado? Who would have thought Arizona State would have got in there? That's what we talking about today. This is y'all chance to win. Who would have thought that you would give Boise State the third seed? Yeah, I see Clemson beat SMU, but who would have thought that Boise State would get any seed in the bye? I mean, they went to four, now they third, and now they found a way because whoever was in that bracket, if Colorado was there, they weren't finna get that bye. They were finna put Colorado in that first round. So now you got to go against Clemson. You know it's gonna be Texas versus Arizona State. That's gonna be interesting. But the fact that I think SMU ain't gonna beat no Penn State. Do you want Penn State to play against a Boise State? That's just unfair. That's just okay. I think Indiana can probably get Notre Dame. They fickle self, and then you go against Georgia. So basically, Georgia can get to the semifinals and play against somebody like Penn State, and then you got, let's say, Tennessee and Ohio State. Let's say it's Ohio State. Let's say Oregon. Oregon gonna play the winner of Texas and Arizona State, which is probably be Texas. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So Texas versus Oregon. It's gonna be interesting. Y'all gonna watch this stuff? Can y'all? They won't say, can you even watch this stuff? Can you even watch this? Let's be real. Do y'all even want to watch this stuff? Who wants to watch it? Like I know you don't want to be a sport brat because your team didn't make it. I don't know what's going on with the SEC. I guess they got two in there, Texas, but it just Tennessee. Ole Miss mad. I know. Ole Miss thought they were gonna get in there. I think they was banking on Georgia losing in that game, and Ole Miss thought they were gonna slide in there. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, but that was, you say Boise State almost beat Oregon. That was in the beginning of the season. One thing you're not gonna do is be one dimensional. They pretty much one dimensional. Yeah, it's good to have a good running back. It really is. But to be one dimensional, man, you got to be able to, because you're gonna go against teams that's as good as you. They linebackers as good as you. You know, you the big dog. You the big dog in your conference, and you play against Oregon or whatever. But when you go against somebody else who big dog like Ohio State, are you really gonna run all over them? And you one dimensional? I don't know. They'll load that box up on your behind. They DBs ain't scared of you. Hmm. Nobody ain't finna be. I. You be wondering why they be putting the teams with the big names in there. You be wondering why they be wanting the big Alabamas in there because they ratings. Look what just happened. Arizona State. It was like I don't know, like a natural disaster took place in that stadium. Nobody was with. If you can't bring the people to the stadium, like Arizona State people better show up. They give me all a buy. Y'all can't go up in there with no empty stadium. You can't do that. Yeah, we missed our shot. We missed our shot, man. We missed our shot. They ain't nothing else to say about it. Yeah, yeah, that was early, and it's like people don't they playing around with you. Like nobody really knew who he was. Now they got enough film on him, enough film on the team, and they know they're not gonna underestimate the dude. And they know if you don't get it now, tackle him, he'll tear you behind up, and they can stop him if they got to load up the box. You talking about everybody talking about SEC? You go get you a SEC line or whatever, and they load that box up, or even Bit 10. They load up that box on that boy. He's not running through them like that. You're not running through everybody like that. So I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I want to give y'all a chance to vent. Everybody else want to discourage y'all from venting. Everybody else want to act like everything all good. It is good because it absolutely had a great season. But I always been under pressure to say, look here, get what you can get while you can get it. Don't base off of last year. Don't base off of nothing. But what's the opportunity that you have right now in front of you? I think that's how I look at it. And see, everybody don't look at it like that. Like I know this is good where you're at, but you see this 12 team playoff, and you see you got it in your hand. Just shoot for that. If you don't make it, you don't make it. But shoot for that. Because it'd be hard to shoot for this little bit of thing and then say, okay, let's go after the big thing. The momentum ain't there. You gotta create momentum. And it really no sense of urgency, really no sense of really doing it. There's no reason to do it because you reached your goal already. Y'all understand that? You ever heard of the what is the law? It's a law. I forget. It's not the Perkinson law. It's not the law of diminishing intent. If y'all know law, let me know. But it's like they use this principle where if you say my goal is to make $100,000, and let's say by in a year, and let's say you make the $100,000 by September, like you just blow your goals out. Typically, from research, what will happen is September, October, November, you'll see the numbers shift. That they won't do nothing, or they'll shift because they will get comfortable. They will get comfortable with I already don't met my goal, so they might do a little more. Now you made $100,000 through August, so they're saying you made you made I don't know 10,000, a little about 12,000 per month. So that's been your, is that the Murphy's Law? I know Murphy's Law is whatever happened. Whatever happened, whatever gonna happen. What's Murphy's Law? Murphy's Law is whatever bad that could happen gonna happen type of thing. That's what Murphy's Law is. But I'm talking about the law of when you reach your goal and you just get comfortable. Like people make the money go and they're shut down. Because technically, if you make 100,000 by August, you should have made another almost 36,000-40,000 on top of that if you kept that pace. But once you hit your goal, you kind of step on your brakes. Yeah, it's similar to Parkinson's law. Um, that's how it is, and I don't think people understand that. But I've seen that, like in the business world, they talk about that all the time when it comes to goal setting, and they talk about it when it comes to just mindset. If you set your goals too low, if you set your goals too low and you accomplish them fast, the typical person who mind ain't right, or they don't really know no better, like these kids, it's subconscious. It'll shut down like, oh shucks, we good. We don't, I know we can go to playoff, but if we don't, we still going to the bowl game. We met our goal. So you got to be careful by not setting small goals. And that's what the average person does. That's why some people, they make $50,000 a year. Yeah, your job set a salary at like 50,000 a year, 60, whatever you make a year. Is no real chance. And that's a real like certain kind of mentality, because the average person typically don't make no more than what their job tell them they're gonna make a year. And that's not including the fact that they could do make more money outside their job. But if that person is comfortable with making that money, or that's their goal, they typically gonna make that. And unless they job get them a raise and they gonna beg them for a raise, they're not gonna make no more than that. And it could be 5, 10, 20 years, they make the same money. It has nothing to do with their effort. It has nothing to do with their skill. And if they don't change jobs or whatever, some kind of change take place, they'll make the same thing because that's their goal. They don't want nothing more. They don't want to do nothing more. And people don't really get that. That applies to everything. That's why I say, y'all give me my inspiration, motivation zone in here right now. You know, and that's what I was trying to explain to them. But people argue with you and they don't know. They think they're stuck in their perspective. I mean, when you got talent like Shador and Travis, like everybody keeps saying, and even B. Watts mentioned that, you have people who like, y'all got the number one guy in pretty much in offense. Both of them number one in offense because Travis both sides of the ball. But you got the top quarterback. He just won an award. Top quarterback in the country. And the top athlete in the country. Pretty much on both sides of the ball. And y'all not in the playoffs. That's called perspective, y'all. That's perspective. Because, and there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that's a smart perspective, because if they're the best, very few people should beat them. That's why I came up with the 10-2. And if they had a went 10-2, they would have been in the playoff like Arizona State. So I mean, my numbers were accurate. You know, I was like, if two teams beat them, they're gonna slip up on them. They're gonna slip up. Like I'll give them two room to slip up, but I don't think nobody should beat them. But I I don't think they should. If they lose more than that, you're not gonna be feeling good because you got too much talent. And then we kept the whole spring, whole summer looking at the talent. Who look we got? They said, oh, it's only on paper. I said, you got Wester, you got Shepard, you got Home. I said, well, we're gonna have overkill. We got the best offensive room, receiver room in the country. What that based off paper? And guess what they said the whole year? All the coaches that faced them said what we said back in April, March, May. We got the best receiver room in the country. And nobody wanted, they just argue. It's silly people, man. They don't listen. We tell them we naming the players. Then we said our defense line gonna be a monster. Did it take a minute for them to gel and come into it? But eventually we was the number one defensive line in the conference by far. Then we end up being one of the top in the country when it came to sacks and everything. Every category the defense would end up in the top. People just didn't talk about it because either they a hater or it was just a lot of other storylines were developing like Colorado could possibly win the conference. That became the predominant storyline. But you really look back at it, I hope some point, Coach Prime used to do in his pressers, he named all the stat categories the defense was top. And we talked about this back in the spring, that this defense was going to be a problem. They're going to be, and did they start off like that? No. Everybody like, what happened to your defense? Even Coach Prime said, what happened to y'all? Y'all did all this in practice. We knew that them boys, we had too many sack monsters on that line. And they end up becoming that. They end up becoming exactly who we said. They just had a slow start for whatever reason. I guess it has to do with just being new and camaraderie, and the coaches were new. They come with it. But if you look at it, you gotta be this psychology. Yeah, people got mad at me. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I will hope Shador, even as young as he is, he'll know exactly what I'm saying. Because see, people had a tendency to love to kiss and let people kiss their behind. People love to talk to people who just gonna be yes man. But I'm telling you something that's next level. You the next level guy. I ain't doggone playing, but I can give you some insight. I'm older, I live, and I have insight. Just like your gift for sport, everybody got gifts. That's mine. You can't knock mine because you don't have it. Just like you can't knock Shador gift, talk about somebody else, and that's Shador. I'm telling you, if Shador needs a sports psychologist, because everything I'm describing is psychology, it's sports psychology. It's sports psychology. I gave them the whole narrative. They ran with it. Nobody gave me credit. I didn't look for no credit with the whole nighttime, daytime buffs and all that. And the whole staff ended up talking about it. I heard Warren Staff talking about Coach Prime. I didn't say what I said verbatim. People wanted me to shut up, argue me. I'm gonna say I'm grown. I said it for weeks until they got it. That it's a difference. Y'all got to reprogram y'all body. They finally got it. And they didn't say it after I said it over and over and over again, and other people start mentioning it. Well, they need a sports psychologist in that program. And don't be surprised when one pop up. They need a sports psychologist in that program, or they need a new one. Because Coach Prime is kind of operating like a sports psychologist, but he's not trained. But a lot of stuff he's talking about is sports psychology. But the next level for them is a sports psychologist, because they need to talk through their thought process. If they had a sports psychologist, they would not be where they are. They would be in the playoff right now. I'm just telling you. Because when they dropped the ball, it wasn't the lack of desire. It wasn't the lack of discipline necessarily that stopped them. The people, they did their best. Nobody said they didn't do their best. You don't listen. The issue is that sometimes what you say out your mouth, it don't align with your actions. It's like a person say, I want to lose weight, but they can't get their butt up to go to the gym. They can't eat right. You see what I'm saying? You could be on drugs and say, I can't, I need to stop smoking these cigarettes. And they can't. It's different between your will and your actions. Sometimes your actions are so deeply rooted that you're going to have to really figure out the root of it. See, y'all don't know, I'm a psychologist guy. That's really what I am. That's why I can figure certain stuff out. That's really what I am. And that's why my perspective is different. That's what I bring to this community. Other people can do the him and her. That's what they do. And it's a place for all of it. I'm me. What I bring, Greg said it, is that perspective. If they had a more understanding of why they can't stop getting penalties all the time. Like, why y'all keep doing that? Like, why y'all keep making silly mistakes? Like, why y'all keep starting slow? Why does Shador get bored after he run up the score on you? If Shador was an animal like Travis, he would broke every record in college football, because he would beat everybody by 50, 60 points. But he didn't. We watched it in UCF, he pulled back. We watched it in Arizona, he pulled back. We watched it in Texas Tech, he pulled back. Utah, he'll let these teams catch up and then they'll take off. You'll be thinking they doing there need to put the backups in. He'll be like, oh, I guess they can't put them in because they let the team come back, because they take their foot off the brakes. And my biggest concern before they lost to Kansas State, anybody here know that if they had a doggone, they couldn't stop never playing a full game, and if they ever got too far behind and their momentum shift on them, it's a wrap. Yeah, they can do Brady mode, but that team there knew how to keep them off the field. And that had a lot to do with the defense. Usually the defense will bail Shador out. They didn't bail him out. And if Shador didn't play bad that game, it's just that they was lackluster as usual. It took a while for them to get their engine going. But what happened was the defense just let the ball, and it just was no chance because they couldn't get off the field. I appreciate it, Edwin. I try to bring something different, because everything that happens in life, it happens for a reason. People act like y'all give me all inspiration, motivation. I just simply forget. I don't hit about three different topics right here. If you think that things just happen like, oh, it roll of a dice, but everything is a combination of decision making, thoughts, you know, um, how you respond. It's a lot of different components that determine how Colorado, why they could never adjust, why we could never figure out why we played slow every game. Even the head coach was like, man, or why we can't run block. And it's a mentality. He's telling you he reached his limit. He knows the issue. He know where the issue is. But in a way, Coach Brown was saying, I don't know how to solve this issue. Here's what he's saying. He kept saying stuff like, sometimes you win when you feel like you lost. And he started the season off like that, but he ended the season like that last year. He's telling you, I reached my end. I don't know what to do. And there's nothing wrong with that because nobody is an expert at everything. But that's what Coach Prime was saying. He said it in a lot of different ways, a lot of different areas, and it cost him and his team in the end. Can I get a witness? Because we talked about it too. But the problem is people don't be on the same page. They argue, and we can't come to a solution when they say, nah, it ain't that great. And it's like, you need to hear different perspective. Well, hearing different perspectives ain't solving crap. This is not a kumbaya where everybody just throw a bunch of stuff in the fire. We got to get down to solution. And we can't get down to solution. Is what you're saying is bogus. Me saying that's bogus ain't me not hearing you. That means it's bogus because we can say check, 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 or we can say net, net. XXX. We can say that. We can say that because we can say, nah, that ain't true. So we can't hold your theory. There's no disrespect to you. We just throwing stuff in the fire to see, throwing stuff. If it don't, we throw it in the fire. If it work, we keep it. It's no disrespect to you. We just brainstorming on what is going on. I don't gotta keep everybody's input if it's not accurate. I appreciate your input, but if that's not true, it's just not true. And we just keep brainstorming until we figure it out. It's not about pride and disrespect and ego and stuff like that. It's not that your goals are too high and you miss them. It's too low and you reach them. Oh, who? You said something now. We definitely reached the low goal. And now we left talking about, well, we had Travis, we had Shadua. Why we ain't in the playoff? Ain't nobody else got the Heisman player usually be in the playoff. Why? Now they holding against him. Well, the JT boy gonna be in the playoff. All that stuff work against Travis. And I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes I don't even think Travis realized it. Because Travis left a lot of meat on the bone. Travis dropped touchdowns, and he's not perfect, but Travis can catch the hardest ball, and then he'll go and let an interception bounce off his chest. Travis, it rubbed off. That ain't Travis mentality, but it rubbed off on Travis. That's why I know it's a cultural thing. Because Shador was like that. Shador wasn't the only person who got bored. If Travis, when he got that touchdown scored on him, that messed up his whole top cornerback thing, they heard him use that against him. Travis basically went to sleep out there. He did like Shador. And he just got caught slipping and he tried to make up for it. And Travis did that at Jackson State. He did it here. Travis will get bored out there on that field. Because if you don't know how to set goals, you just reach your minimum goals. Travis and Shador could have blew away any records. Shador could have blew away quarterback records by far. Yardage, touchdown. Because so many games, he just shut down for 2-3 quarters. Either he didn't play to the end. All right, let me get this game over with. Or he'll run up on them, slow down, let him catch up, run up, slow down, catch up. He'll end up with like 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. They'll be like, yeah, he had a bad game, but he still threw for 3 touchdowns. And I'm like, if he just had a play all the way through and his mind was in a place where he just say, I'm not looking at the scoreboard. I find a way to just play for myself, push myself. And it's like if his mentality was shifted, and he's because he's right, the competition, he really should be in the NFL. Like Juju ran all high school in his sleep. Juju really is already, even though he's leaving a year early, he's not challenged the same ways when he come to Colorado. Colorado is another level. It will challenge him because he's going against older guys, more experienced guys. Shador is going to go to NFL. He's going to go against pros who's bigger and experienced and fast, and it's going to challenge him. But in college, he's like, yeah, oh, this too easy. I just go 3 touchdowns in like 3 minutes. He scored too fast. The biggest complaint about Shador is they don't have no clock management because he scored too easy. Shador go around here, do the dumbest stuff. His lineman to jump outside, and they be 2nd and 15. And then Shador go around, spin around, take a sack, a 30-yard sack, be 2nd and 40, 2nd and 50, and he'll throw a bomb, touchdown, or he'll throw a ball right back into 2 or 3 yards into the first down. And it's like he get away with murder. He can be 2nd and 45, and he got the and he'll wake up. Oh shucks, on my back against the wall. He'll look different. It just everything will be tight. It's like you can literally see. I'm gonna get this first down. I'm gonna get this touchdown. You can tell the difference. Shador just be, and he throw an interception. That's the only time he threw an interception outside that Utah. Is Shador just be like he threw 2 and had 2 turnovers like in the Arizona game with the lead. On the goal line. And he threw one. And he tried to catch it out of his hand. He's like, oh, shit, I didn't mean to throw that. It's like he was chasing out the ball after he threw it. But he just get nonchalant and sleep. And it's because he haven't had no goals. If you're looking at the scoreboard, it's not enough. It's like making money. Some people feel like if I make money, I'll be good. And then they'll make the money and they be like, they just don't have no motivation no more. And then you got some people who filthy rich, multi-billionaire, trillionaire, and they just out there grinding because they're not doing it for the money. You might want to say they're doing it for the money. They may have some other sick agendas behind it, but they got an agenda. They have a purpose behind what they're doing, and it's not money. And so therefore, they be out there working harder than you, and they just got too much money. They want all the money. They're not doing it for money anymore. So everybody don't do it for tangible. Some people got goals, and it can be a wicked goal, but it's a goal. You know, like you got a Bill Gates. He got all these weird agendas going on. He got all the money. Why is he ain't doing it for money at this point? So when you look at the fact that Shador, he's out there, he already know he going to NFL. He already got millions and millions of dollars in NIL. Money is not an issue. Yeah, he's a top NIL guy. He's reached the top. It's like when Coach Prime reached the top at Jackson State. He's reached his top. He's like, how do you motivate me? And it's intrinsic. You can't motivate Shador. Shador, no. As long as he stay healthy, he the top guy at the draft. He know that. His dad is in the circles. He know more than we know. His dad know the owners. His dad, they probably told Shador last year, Shador, you're going to be the first guy out. Shador, they said Shador would have been the top 5 last year. People didn't want to believe it. I don't think Coach Prime will lie. If he had came out last year, he would have been top 5. Not top 5 quarterback, top 5 in the draft. Yeah. It's like Travis is his 3rd year, and he's going to be top 5 in the draft. So Shador knew coming back, and like, he good. As long as he healthy, he good. He going to be top in the draft. He got way too much money. He got no kids, no family, and he make more than all of us put together. And it's like, and he can go out there and have butt around and throw 300 yards and have a bad day throwing 300 yards for 3 touchdowns. That's a bad day for him. That tell you that man have no business being in the college level. No business. Because other kids, you look at the other stats from other teams, them kids barely can do that on their best day. But it's not good for Shador because he's not pushing himself. Yeah, man. Look here, man. I cover this content. You on here with me. This is my thing right here. I cover this content. I didn't just show up on the day. I know the narrative. I know you can't just tell me what the goal. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about psychology, y'all. What you saying to me right here is the equivalent of a guy smoking dope saying he want to get off drugs, but he can't. I'm gonna stop smoking, and then he's smoking 5 minutes later. I know your real goal by your actions and what you say out your mouth that you don't hear. See, that may not be that's my thing. See, I listened to what Colorado has said repeatedly. There wasn't no PR. And if it was a PR, they made PR reality, which is another thing about the power of the tongue. You keep saying something, it's no longer PR. That's what you're putting out there, and that's what they got. You can't deny the fact that that's what they got. You can't deny the fact that it's what they got. We say it right now talking about it because that's what happened. We say it talking about it and been talking about for weeks. How they didn't make the doggone bowl game. And Arizona State come out of nowhere and beat the mess out, and then they got a bye. The bye that Colorado's supposed to have because that was not their goal. If it was their freaking goal, they would have went up there and fell asleep at Kansas because it was in their hand. Everybody knew it. We talked about it. Everybody knew this was their shot. If that was their goal, if that's your goal to get to the Big 12 championship, I ain't talking about what became your goal after you won, after you figured you was getting a bowl game because you think that's how it works. I'm gonna get this goal and then I'm gonna change the goal. No, that their goal from the beginning was the bowl game. The bowl game was last year's goal. Honestly, I don't know where y'all been at. But the bowl game was last year's goal. It wasn't playoff. It always was the bowl game. They wanted to take Miss Pickett to the bowl game last year. They missed it, and they reinserted that goal for this year. This is what I follow this content from both seasons. I know exactly what their goals were because they repeated it. I did the research. You see, I didn't just show up today and talk about a random guy talking about this. You go look at I got the videos to show you. I've been telling them, watch out what you say. I said, watch what you put on tape and watch what you say. Because you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And that's what they got. That's what they got. They got the ball game. I'm not saying it's bad, but that was their goal. You can't tell me they had another goal. Because I guarantee you, anybody who listened to this half-heartedly, they will know what the goal is because they would say, look here. What you heard Colorado say? They repeat, oh, he want to get Miss Pickett. They said it over and over again until it became a PR. But that was the goal, you know. And when you look at it, you can run back the tape and you ain't gonna ever hear them talk about no playoff. It's my PR. You ain't gonna never hear them talk about the playoff or the Big 12 championship. They never said that. They had it on the screen in their locker room that hey, that's this calendar, but that's not what they repeated. Like they didn't program themselves. That wasn't an affirmation. They said it over and over again. Bowl game, get Miss Peggy the bowl game. Any doggone press conference, get Miss Peggy the bowl game. They should have said that, but that's all they got exactly what they asked for. Yeah. I absolutely said, how you gonna stop Shadozi? Absolutely. But I'm not gambling. This is not Bet US or whatever. These other platforms. This is based off of what that man already did. The film I seen when he was tossing Texas players, 2-3 guys couldn't move him in Texas. And Texas was good last year. And guess what they had this year? They had to play off again this year. Texas was like a game away from a national championship last year. And Chidozie was manhandling them guys. So I already knew he was going to be a problem in the Big 12 that nobody respect. I already knew that. What's going on, Big Worm? You said they got one. What they got? What they got? They got a bowl game. Hey, Greg said it. Didn't get the confirmation. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe notification didn't come through. I kind of put it in late. I ain't watch it, honestly. I ain't even try to watch it. Because they believe they were cool with the season because I believe they are 9-3 team. Should have lost to Baylor. I think you could have lost to Baylor, but if you actually watch the Baylor game, the only reason the Baylor game was freaking close because they let them in the game. You see, you gotta look at them first few games. They were playing from behind. Baylor didn't do nothing to them. Colorado did to them in Baylor the same thing they did to them in Kansas. In Kansas State. What's the difference between Kansas State and Baylor other than what, one game in between them? The difference is Shador wasn't able to get that pass to the Shepard, who got Bobby Boucher with the ball in the air, and they didn't throw the flag like they never do. And if they would have got that first down, we would have been in field goal range if we didn't score, and we would have been in overtime again like Baylor. That's the difference. But why did they even happen? The defense let them bomb them down the field instead of being like in a prevent, something like a prevent type defense, which they did the very next week. If they had to put more people back to help over top, so they wouldn't throw no touchdown because they had to score. They just dropped the ball there. But the reality is, Kansas State and Baylor was identical games from the standpoint Colorado trying to run people down. They tried to run North Dakota State down. Everybody jumped out on them. It didn't work against Nebraska. You let these teams jump out on you. And kept saying, why we can't start off right. I don't gave y'all the whole segment today. Go look at it, clip it. Colorado love to play from behind. They had a mental issue. It's a mentality issue, a psychology issue. Colorado had a mindset issue. That ain't knocking Colorado, but they better get a sports psychologist because Coach Prime is in with that. He's already made it clear. It's irritating to him. He don't understand it, but he gonna have to get an expert in there. And I think teams usually have. They got on them staff. They better get one on staff. All it takes is some conversations. Because just like I can diagnose the reason why y'all got the bowl game, it's because you kept saying it. I guarantee I have enough conversation with you. I can tell why you lackadaisical and why you play from behind. I ain't even that. I'm not even the doctor of psychology and like that. I can do that. It's like the same people arguing with me about what I said about the bowl game thing. And they argue with me about what I said about the nighttime game. That's just because your mind can't comprehend it. That don't mean it's not true. I have to keep repeating for people to get it. He's running into the issue of trying to figure out why we can't do this. Like, it has a lot to do with the mentality of the team. It has a lot to do with the mentality of the coach. And he get mad. He be like, hey, it's on the coaches too. You can say that all day, but you can't figure out why. You can't figure out why. Because what's going on with them is internal. It's not inside Coach Prime necessarily, because he may not do that. But it's something there that make you say, why every time I get ahead, I get relaxed? It's like the person said, why every time I make some extra money, I go take a nap or I go spend it. Every time I get a bonus, I go on a trip. Every time I have an opportunity to go somewhere, I make some money, I go shopping. You gonna tell me that's normal? Everybody don't respond the same, but how you respond is clear. And somebody need to have a conversation with you. Because I may get some extra money and I may invest it. Somebody else may get the extra money, they may save it. Somebody else may get the extra money and they gotta get on Amazon immediately. They gotta go to something immediately and splurge. Because that's programming. It applies to football too. It applies. See, this person say they overachieve in my book. See, and that's supposed to be that way because it's your book. But imagine if you was on the field. If you was on the field with them and your book was different than their book, what their book on, you would have a clash in the locker room with the coaches or the players, or the team would, it depend on who you are on the team and what impact you have, you would have went 7-5 and met what you see what I'm saying? That's the psychology. You expect it differently. If you was on their coaching staff or you was one of the players, it would have had an impact on the team. So could it be that some people on that team felt good about where they are, that they didn't really, they have to go to the playoffs. They can say, we overachieved in my book. We better than 4-8. I guarantee you, somebody on that team, on that staff to feel that way. You ain't on the one. And it shows because that's why there was no real push to say, oh, sure, we got it in our hands to go win the championship. That'd be nice, but it ain't no big deal. I mean, we already good. We lose so well. We still got a bowl game. Ain't that what the goal was, coach? You'll be surprised. If prior to Kansas, they would have played a complete game. Well, exactly. But then I talk about this. I said they better learn how to play a complete game. So when they need it, when the game don't turn out the way they want, it's a battle or whatever, they would have the ability to play all 4 quarters. But right now, they ain't shown how to play a whole 4 quarters yet. And I didn't know it would happen in Kansas. It could have happened in the championship game. It could have happened in the playoff because you just ain't going to out-talent everybody. You ain't going to bail yourself out every game with a bomb. It's 3rd and 25. Bomb to Travis Hunter. You bail yourself. You didn't never learn from your mistakes because you just out-talented everybody. Really, the last few games, they were out-talented them people. They were making the same mistakes. They had penalties. They had sacks and crazy crap, but they didn't ever suffer for it because they'll turn around and bomb you behind. Or they'll get all the yards right back as if they didn't just get a 15, 20-yard sack and penalties and all that. And they end up back at 3rd and 3. As if they wasn't just 2nd and doggone 25. They can get away with that. And I knew that at some point it wasn't going to work, and it didn't work against Kansas. But we had already seen what it not working looked like when Kansas State, it backfired on. But sometimes people don't learn from their mistakes. Sometimes people make excuses. They deflect. Sometimes they act like, well, we still won. Why are you complaining for? All the silly folks that came on here, and I said, you're a loser. Well, guess what? It helped us lose. Because I said, you complaining about me saying they need to work on this, they need to work on that. It's gonna cost them. And then when it costs them, you the first one gonna be like, either one, you're gonna be complaining, or you're gonna be like, oh, it's no big deal. The loser come out of you. You be like, well, they still, at least they better than 8-4 or 4-8. We could have went 8-4. I'm good. And it's like, okay, well, why are you arguing me? You content with every darn thing. I'm talking about the opportunity at hand for them. You talking about your contentness. You look here. You play football and you bust your butt and all that pain and all that. You better get all you can get. You don't settle. You don't settle. Because why go put your body through all that to get the minimum? That's why after every game, win or lose, Coach Prime would say to his team, remain the mistakes are on him to fix. He owns up to team shortcomings. He owns up to them for sometimes. But just because somebody own up to something, that don't mean they know how to fix it. A crackhead can say, I know I'm wrong for smoking crack. That don't mean he gonna fix it. He got to go to rehab. He got to go to a professional. Just because somebody can acknowledge something, they don't mean they got the discipline or the ability to fix it. Because if they did, they probably wouldn't be in the situation. If Coach Prime had the answer, I'm sure he would have solved this a long time ago. This is second season. He got the same issues. Now he got to start figuring out people gonna leave. Is he gonna have the same issue? Is penalties gonna be an issue for the 3rd season in a row? Is starting slow gonna be an issue with another quarterback in there? Because then you got to start looking at it ain't just individuals. It could be a cultural thing, and what in the culture is causing it. Or it could be a visionary thing. Like, how do I portray this vision? Is it something I'm saying that allow people to settle? Not me saying, settle, go settle, be a loser. No, not me saying, don't go dominate. Don't. No, it's in your words that you use. It's in your, I don't know, your planning, how you go about it, the intensity of it. It's somewhere. It ain't necessarily you can say all the right things. You can be 5,000 pounds and say, I know I need to get right. That don't mean crap if you ain't gonna do it. There's a lot of people know what they need to do to get their life right. There's a lot of people out here underachieved. I thought this senior leadership would pay dividends. Our linebackers play well, but they weren't athletic enough to stop the run. And that's the thing. I can't say they didn't stop the run because they very well did. I'm not there. But I know they shut Texas Tech running back down, and then they let him back go. They shut him down and they release him. They shut him down to like 30-something yards. And then they say, okay, go ahead and break your record. They did that, and UCF. I went to the game. They doggone mud dog UCF. They could have ran away with the score. Then they let them at the end get all them yards. And then you look up and they're like, oh, they had 200 running yards. But they didn't. They got the last 100 yards in the last 5 minutes. When they felt the game was over, it's no big deal. We got the game won. Go ahead and run up your stats. They don't have that killer instinct. And that is not individual player. That is definitely culture. Where is it in the culture? I don't know. I don't know. Where is it in their culture? Is it in the music? I don't know. Can't play games like you can just turn it on. People blame on Shador, but we're gonna see. Because he played like he should turn the switch on, but was it Shador or was it the culture? Because if Shador leave and it maintains itself, then we know it's a cultural issue. We know it's a cultural issue. And now we got to look real deep because we got to see where it's coming in at. So we blaming Shador. And as if he did it, he did everything. He made all the decisions. You mess around and see some of that same stuff, you know it's in the culture. Everybody got something to work on. It's not knocking, but it's a reality. If we're going to sit here and know it because he wants to kiss somebody's rear, you're going to help them. Because some tell you somebody can't see something right in front of their face, they're sick. And they need you. They don't need you to lie to them. They don't need you to lie to them. I'm trying to get this thing here. It says Greg, your critical thing, Greg, cerebral analytical is not just most people think, therefore it don't get you, and it goes over most people's head. And you know, I don't, you know why you know how I agree with you? I agree with you on so many aspects, but what you're saying has actual proof, because if they got me, then they wouldn't even need me to say it because they'll have it themselves. If they thought like me, I wouldn't even be saying it because it wouldn't be a thing. If you had a Greg said it in your building better, then it will already be solved where I wouldn't even be able to notice it. You see? But that's why you have different people in your life. Not butt kiss. Not home, but not, ooh, don't say that about me. You need somebody to be able to, who got good intent. Because look here. What's going on? I can give a rat's rear behind. I can care less. I'm not here to be a groupie. You know, I'm here to do what I'm doing, which is get some insight on something that I follow just like y'all. I'm just here to get my insight, and that's what this is. Don't get it twisted. That's what this YouTube and all this is. It's an outlet for like-minded people to have a conversation. Y'all are here because we got some of y'all, most of y'all can relate to what I'm saying, value what I'm saying. And some people want to hear other people talk another kind of way. They go to their page. Sometimes you got a plethora of diversification in it. Sometimes y'all go to different people's pages. I go to other people's pages sometimes too. And I see some of y'all there. And that's fine because we have an interest in a similar thing. And that's all it is. But it's my right, just like everybody else, right? Like you can go get your own platform, just like I did, to say, hey, this is what I see. And it does it have to be right? Who said it had to be? But sometimes you really look at it and it is right. You be like, wow, that's right. Okay, now what we gonna do about it? Because you want to see something done because you have an investment in the team. You watching you go watch a game on a Saturday. Let's be for real. Let's be for real, y'all. Like, it's your weekend, you don't work, you got a business, and you got a business, you really doing something, because it's like business go 24/7 on weekends. You take off time to say to be with your family. But think about it. You waiting to watch a game. And like Colorado had like 6 night games. The game come on at 8 o'clock, depending on where you at, 10 o'clock Eastern. You trying to get stuff done to prepare to watch that game. So you really shutting down your day so you can be available. You up late at night watching the game, or you watching the game in the middle of the day. That means you got to shut it down, watch the game, then try to do something after the game end late. And it's like, it's interesting because you got to sacrifice for that. You got to plan around that. You got birthday parties and stuff to go to. And all of that, you trying to figure out how to sit and watch a doggone game. So you invested. Some of us even went to the game. You got to set up work schedule and flights and get tickets and all that and hotels just to go watch a game. That's serious. And you may water down in your mind. That's just to be able to go along, go along with stuff. But the reality is that's a big deal because you're using your time and your resources that you could be using elsewhere. So it's not a small fee. Even y'all here with me, I can value the fact that however number y'all here, however number y'all go back and watch the replay that you watching it, because you could have been doing something else with that time. So ain't nothing light about it. If I say even the clowns show up in the comments, you sick because you using your time. You can't get that time back on this earth, and you using it to be here and talk junk about CU. You sick because you really a fan. Because I know I ain't going on nobody else's page to talk crap. I barely got time to be on my own, really. So if you dude who always hate on Colorado, and are you even worse on multiple pages talking about Colorado, everybody know who you are because you on everybody's platform. You is a super duper fan who's mentally ill because you're there. You could be somewhere else. So when I put my time into this, I'm not here to be no clown or no hater. I'm here because I support what they're doing. And when I get my insight, I'm giving a genuine insight of what I see. I share it with y'all. And even if sometimes I say, y'all need to make sure this get to them because this is becoming an issue. Or this will help them. Sometimes it do, clearly. Ain't nobody contact me and say if I can tell because I'm going to put it out there. And then sometimes it just, you sitting there watching the same crap and you're like, ugh, do y'all not see this? And I'm going to tell you, as we close out here, our next campaign going to be, y'all need to get y'all a good sports psychologist. Know somebody on that campus or somebody Coach Prime know that on an individual level and on a group level, since they always talk about we for the kids, like when it comes to their performance, I'm not talking about the mental health and anxiety component. Like I'm talking about not just that, but like goal setting with them boys. Like, okay, what's your goal? And how does this goal contribute to the team goal? And do we need to sit down and have a conversation about the team's goal before we go into it? So we make sure all our energy is going this way. We don't need somebody saying, well, I'm good with 8-4. And we trying to go that way. And we going, and this person, I want to go national championship. The other person is a hater. I want them to lose because they ain't playing. You really need to get for everybody to be. Why y'all coming to practice and acting lazy and we got to fire y'all up? They're clearly showing you they ain't on the same page. And Coach Prime know they ain't on the same page. And he's saying it. He just don't know why. Because I believe, like I said, if he did know why, I think he would do something about it. And we can, once you get into all these specifics, you're not going to see this right here. Run the ball, a lot of clock to run. Georgia defeated Texas. Why? Texas kept throwing the ball like she do in Colorado. Arizona State run the ball, right? That's true. But let's go back to what I said. It's all cute. But this is the issue. He said that we can't run the ball because of mentality. Whatever that means. He said we can't run the ball because they don't have the attitude, they don't want to. Then you got to get into why. What's going on around there that the second year in a row they can't run the ball? Players, they say Hankerson went up there and did a 1,000-yard rushing. They didn't have all the running back, but I'm just saying he was barely getting the ball. This, that. Yeah, he the main guy. He got the carries. So why you ain't giving them the carries to do what you say you want to do, which is run the ball? What's going on? See, sometimes in life you got to get down deeper into why people do what they do, why they say what they say. And I'm just telling you for a fact, Colorado has not done that. That's why your coach keeps making comments in the press conference over and over and over again. And you seeing the same issues over and over again. And you say, well, they giving their best. And you go to point out people, it's right here. And we're gonna talk about inspiration. I'm gonna let this go. Inspiration, motivation. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all share, make sure y'all subscribe, y'all. And we're gonna finish this thing off because we're gonna get deeper into this because we're really in there right now. But they can call that a part 2. Make sure y'all here. If you're here and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And you see our sponsor here at the bottom. All right. Make sure y'all check out the Tangle Box. Good old Tangle Box. Ask old Alan. Alan will tell you. Alan got a couple of them. And that's what I use during the season. But the season over, guess what? All those good old channels and everything I have when I do watch TV. I don't watch no TV. That's why I ain't trying to pay no cable. Because I'm not watching no TV. But when I watch the games, I want to have the games. I want all the channels. I want they're gonna be on Bally, gonna be on Pat 12 Network. I ain't gotta go do nothing weird. I'm not gonna go overpay for these extra packages just to be able to get these channels. So they got all of it, got all the old movies, all TV, all the kids will love it. All the new movies and stuff on it for just one flat fee. You pay it one time, you don't have no monthly bill, and it's a lot cheaper than paying that monthly, I'll tell you, because it's high as a kite. So make sure y'all check out our sponsor here. Check it out. Check it out. Let me see here.